Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. Heavy fighting in northeastern Nigeria between Chadian soldiers and Boko Haram militants has left at least 9 Chadian soldiers dead and 21 others wounded. Chadian state television says Wednesday's clashes occurred in the towns of Gambaru and Ngala. Witnesses say hundreds of suspected Boko Haram fighters crossed over from Gambaru early Wednesday and attacked border villages in Cameroon. Chad's army says it killed more than 200 militants in fighting on Tuesday in the 2 towns, which are near Nigeria's border with Cameroon. A Cameroonian journalist near the town of Fotokol told VOA the militants may have been provoked by Tuesday's attack on their positions in Gambaru by Chadian forces. He says the Chadian army used military helicopters to bomb Gambaru after insurgents disguised as passers-by shot at hundreds of people. Chad has deployed 2,500 troops as part of a regional effort to take on the terrorist group. Thousands of people have been displaced by the fighting in northeastern Nigeria. Well, meanwhile, with only 10 days to go before the Nigerian presidential election, international media organizations are finding it difficult to send their reporters there to cover the vote. The Committee to Protect Journalists today called on Nigerian authorities to ensure that international journalists are allowed access to so they can go in and do their job. For more on that, I'm joined live via Skype from New York by Sue Valentine, Africa Program Coordinator at the Committee for Protection of Journalists. Ms. Valentine, welcome to Africa 54.
Thanks so much, Vincent.
Now, let's get it a bit clear here. Not everybody has been denied visa to go into Nigeria. That's correct, isn't it?
That's correct. Not everybody has been denied, but we were notified last week that some 40 journalists from various, freelancers, other recognized media outlets were struggling to get visas to cover the elections. We know that some of the really big institutions, BBC, New York Times, have not had a problem, but there are other significant media outlets that have been trying through various means and have not had any luck whatsoever, and we're getting close to deadline.
Now, from your research there, what have you established? What are the roadblocks to those who are not able to get in?
Well, it seems it's either deliberate efforts to make it difficult for journalists to attend, or it's just bad bureaucracy. But certainly it led to the Foreign Correspondents Association of Southern Africa, so that's across the Southern African region, writing a letter to the Nigerian authorities saying, what do we need to do to get journalists to be able to come and be accredited to cover the elections? So that's a big group, and they made 8. We had one instance where some 8 applications had been submitted and rejected. And others, they just don't know if they're going to get this in time, and the deadline is next week, Wednesday, the 11th.
Exactly. They said you have to be there by the 11th. But do we have any history here? If you go back to the previous election, did we experience anything like this?
I'm not aware that this has been a big issue previously. No one's been pointing that out to us. But certainly it's concerning, given I think that these are particularly tight elections. The race is close, and they're taking place in the context of the insurgency in the northeast of the country. And so there's a real interest in having journalists on the ground to be able to report the story to the world. Nigeria is an important player.
Now, we are just journalists. We are not countries that can impose sanctions. What practically can be done to exert some pressure on the government in Nigeria to expedite this process?
Well, it's the one thing journalists do have access to is to the media. And I think that people are putting out the story. There have been direct petitions to governments, to the different embassies. We haven't had any response from the Nigerian authorities when we tried to get hold of them yesterday. But certainly there is a momentum building of letters being submitted. The issue is getting out there through the media, and we hope that Nigeria will be responsive, because it's the leading country on the continent, and the elections deserve to be covered thoroughly.
Let's hope for the best. Thanks a lot, Sue.
You're welcome.
Well, Sue Valentine is Africa Program Coordinator at the Committee for Protection of Journalists.